Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen, and buckle up because today we have a story that is sending absolute shockwaves through the entire tennis community. We are standing at the epicenter of a seismic shift in the sport, a phenomenon so powerful that even the most seasoned tennis executives are completely lost for words. We are talking about the 2026 Cincinnati Open, one of the most prestigious Masters 1000 and WTA 1000 tournaments on the calendar, a historical battleground where legends are forged right before the U.S. Open. But this year, the spotlight isn't just on the defending champions or the established world number ones. No, this year, the entire tennis world is in a state of absolute disbelief, and tennis experts are collectively losing their minds over an unprecedented ticket demand that has literally stunned Cincinnati tournament director Bob Moran. At the center of this absolute hurricane of hype, passion, and record-breaking crowd turnout is none other than the 21-year-old Filipino tennis prodigy, Alex Eala. What we are witnessing right now is not just a hot streak on the court. It is a global cultural movement. The ticket rush we are seeing in Mason, Ohio at the Linder Family Tennis Center has completely shattered expectations, paralyzed booking systems, and triggered a mad scramble among tournament organizers who are desperately trying to figure out how to accommodate the tidal wave of fans flooding in to see Eala play. To understand the gravity of the situation, you have to understand who Bob Moran is. Bob Moran is a titan in the tennis industry. He is the president of BMOC Sports and Entertainment. He sits on the boards of the WTA and the WTA Foundation, and he has overseen tournaments for over 2 decades. He has seen the likes of Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, and Serena Williams pack out stadiums. He has seen the golden eras of tennis firsthand. Yet, when confronted with the sheer volume of ticket requests, the viral social media campaigns, and the relentless, unstoppable force of the Filipino fan base trying to get a glimpse of Alex Eala, Moran was reportedly left completely speechless. The demand has simply exceeded any historical metric for a player ranked outside the top 5. Eala is entering the Cincinnati Open as the number 17 seed, which in itself is a monumental, history-making achievement as the highest seeding ever by a Filipino player at a WTA 1000 event. But it is the off-court numbers that are truly staggering. We are talking about thousands upon thousands of tickets being snatched up the absolute second they become available. It is a level of box office magnetism that we have not seen in women's tennis in recent memory. And the experts? The pundits, the commentators, the former players who analyze the sport day in and day out, they are absolutely losing it. They are dedicating entire broadcasts, podcasts, and columns to trying to dissect the Eala effect, because what Alex Eala is doing right now transcends the sport of tennis. She is not just a rising star. She is a trailblazer carrying the pride of over 100 million Filipinos on her back, and her diaspora fan base is proving that they will show up loud and proud in numbers that are making tournament directors rethink their entire logistical operations. In this deep dive, we are going to break down every single facet of this incredible story. We are going to look at the exact numbers that left Bob Moran absolutely floored. We are going to retrace Eala's explosive summer hardcourt swing, from her historic breakthrough in Washington, where she dismantled the world number 3, Jessica Pegula, to the absolute mayhem she caused in Toronto, where tickets sold out in 30 minutes. We will analyze her current run in Cincinnati, including her dominant, albeit rain-delayed, opening performance and her massive, blockbuster upcoming clash against a resurgent world number 10, Amanda Anisimova. This is a story about the changing face of tennis, the power of representation, and a young woman who is rising to the occasion under a pressure cooker of expectations. So, sit back, relax, and let's get into the deep dive of how Alex Eala just turned the Cincinnati Open completely upside down. Let us start by contextualizing the sheer magnitude of the venue and the tournament we are dealing with. The Cincinnati Open, played at the Linder Family Tennis Center in Mason, Ohio, is a crown jewel of the North American hardcourt swing. Recently, the facility underwent a massive, staggering $260 million expansion. This is not a small, intimate venue. This expansion essentially doubled the size of the campus, aiming to provide a world-class experience for players and fans alike, and featuring a massive center court with capacity of 11,614 seats. In 2025, the tournament drew a record 285,571 fans over its duration, You would think that a venue designed to hold a small city's worth of people, a venue that is prepared for the biggest names in sports, will be more than capable of handling any player's fan base. But then, Alex Eala arrived. When the draw was announced and Eala was confirmed as the number 17 seed, securing a first-round bye, the ticket systems lit up like a Christmas tree. According to reports from the ground, the surge in traffic was instantaneous. Eala's matches triggered a massive ticket rush that organizers have openly admitted caught them completely off guard. Now, to be fair, they should have seen the warning signs. If we rewind just a couple of weeks to the Mubadala City, D.C. Open in Washington, tournament chairman Mark Ine went on record stating that ticket sales for Eala's matches had skyrocketed by at least 80%, if not more, driven almost entirely by the Filipino community in the DMV area. Then, the tour moved to Canada for the National Bank Open in Toronto, and the situation escalated from a surge to an outright phenomenon. In Toronto, tournament director Carl Hale witnessed Eala generate upwards of 5,000 ticket sales for her opening match. The demand was so ferocious that her match sold out in 30 minutes, rendering the 2,800-seat grandstand court utterly inadequate. The organizers in Toronto had to make the unprecedented decision to move a player outside the top 10 to center court just to safely accommodate the masses, a feat Carl Hale compared to prime drawing power Serena Williams. So, fast forward to Cincinnati. Bob Moran and his team at BMOC Sports knew Eala was popular, but nothing could prepare them for the reality of the Eala fan army mobilizing in the Midwest. We are hearing reports that tickets for sessions featuring Eala have been selling out at absolute record speed. It is a logistical puzzle. How do you schedule a 21-year-old rising star? Do you put her on an outer court and risk massive overcrowding, bottlenecks, and a potential safety hazard as thousands of passionate fans try to cram into limited bleacher space? Or do you put her on center court, a slot traditionally reserved for the world number one, the defending champion, or a retiring legend? The fact that Bob Moran, a man who sits on the ADP and WD advisory councils, a man who has managed the logistics of major events alongside the USGA, was left stunned by this demand tells you everything you need to know. The tennis experts are losing it because the traditional hierarchy of the sport is being dismantled by pure, unadulterated fan power. Tennis has historically relied on a handful of generational superstars to drive ticket sales. With the recent retirements and absences of the old guard, the sport has been desperate for a new box office sensation. Eala is proving that she is exactly that, but she brings a demographic that the sport has traditionally underserved. The Filipino diaspora is turning what is usually a polite, golf clap environment into a vibrant, electrifying, stadium-shaking atmosphere. Let's talk about the tennis itself, because all the hype in the world means nothing if you cannot back it up on the court. And Alexandra Eala is backing it up with devastating efficiency. Coming into Cincinnati sitting at a career-high world number 20, Eala had the benefit of a first-round bye. In the round of 64, she was slated to face the dangerous Romanian Elena Gabriela Ruse. Now, the weather in Cincinnati has been notoriously uncooperative this year, with severe thunderstorms rolling through the Ohio Valley, suspending matches and dragging players off the courts. Eala and Ruse found themselves caught in this meteorological chaos. But while the dark clouds loomed and the rain threatened, Eala was absolutely laser-focused. She stepped onto the court and immediately imposed her will. Eala showcased her phenomenal court coverage, her heavy, penetrating ground strokes, and a newfound aggressive mindset that has been a hallmark of her 2026 season. She raced out to a commanding 6-1, 3-0 lead. She was practically painting the lines, dictating the baseline rallies and suffocating Ruse's second serve. Unfortunately, the match took a somber turn. Just before a weather delay halted play, Ruse was forced to receive medical treatment on her right ankle. The Romanian fought valiantly, but ultimately, during the weather suspension, she had to pull the plug and retire from the match. It is never the way a competitor wants to advance. Eala herself showed tremendous class in her post-match interview, stating, "I was playing well and feeling really focused. I tried to stay in the zone. A retirement is not the way you want to end a match. Injuries are not fun." That level of empathy and professionalism, coupled with her ruthless execution during the points they did play, is exactly why the tennis experts are fawning over her. She has the killer instinct of a champion and the grace of a veteran. But the path only gets steeper from here, and this is where the deep dive gets really interesting. Because of her victory over Ruse, Eala has now set up a blockbuster, marquee matchup in a round of 32 against a ninth-seeded American powerhouse, Amanda Anisimova. This is the match that has everyone circling their calendars. This is the match that has Bob Moran thanking his lucky stars while simultaneously tearing his hair out over crowd control. Amanda Anisimova is not just any opponent. She is the world number 10. She is a former U.S. Open girls singles champion, just like Eala. But Anisimova's story is one of incredible resilience and a terrifying return to form. After taking an 8-month hiatus from the sport from May 2023 to January 2024 for mental health and burnout recovery, Anisimova's ranking plummeted to 373. But since her return, she has been an absolute force of nature. She reached 2 consecutive Grand Slam finals and clawed her way all the way back into the top 10. Anisimova just dispatched the Turkish talent Zeynep Samez with a ruthless 6-2, 6-3 victory. So, what we have here is an immovable object meeting an unstoppable force. On one side of the net, you have Amanda Anisimova, the hometown American favorite, possessing some of the cleanest, flattest, and most powerful ground strokes in the women's game. She can take the racket right out of your hand if you leave the ball sitting in her strike zone. On the other side, you have Alex Eala, riding the absolute crest of a wave, armed with elite point construction, incredible defensive anticipation honed at the Rafa Nadal Academy, and the unshakable belief that she belongs at the very top of the sport, validated by her recent dismantling of Jessica Pegula in Washington. The tactical matchup is fascinating. Can Eala use her heavy topspin and varied angles to pull Anisimova out of the center of the court and prevent the American from dictating play? Or will Anisimova's sheer pace rush Eala and force errors? The experts are completely divided. Some believe Anisimova's experience and power will be too much for the 21-year-old on the fast Cincinnati hard courts. Others argue that Eala's current momentum, backed by a crowd that will undoubtedly sound like a home game for the Filipina despite being in Ohio, will carry her through. This brings us to a crucial element of the Eala phenomenon, the crowd dynamic. Tennis is a psychological battle, as much as a physical one. Players rely on momentum shifts. When you play Alex Eala right now, you are not just playing the woman across the net. You are playing the thousands of fans draped in the blue, red, yellow, and white of the Philippine flag. You are playing the deafening roars after every winner, the relentless chanting, the sheer emotional weight of a nation willing their champion to victory. For Anisimova, who is American and will certainly have her own supporters, this dynamic will be a massive test of her focus. We saw it happen to Pegula in Washington. The sheer volume of the Eala crowd can create a pressure cooker environment that can rattle even the most seasoned top 10 players. Bob Moran knows this. The tournament directors know this. The broadcasting networks know this. It is why every single camera will be fixed on this match. It is prime-time drama. And let us look at the broader implications for the sport. For decades, the WTA has been searching for global superstars to expand the game into new markets. Asia has always been a massive target demographic, and while players like Lina and Naomi Osaka achieved incredible monumental success, Alex Eala is unlocking a highly specific, deeply passionate demographic in the Philippines and its massive global diaspora. The financial implications for tournaments are staggering. We are talking about increased merchandise sales, astronomical concessions, soaring television ratings in Southeast Asia, and a level of social media engagement that algorithms absolutely love. When Eala plays, she trends worldwide. She breaks the internet. That is why tournament directors like Bob Moran are stunned. They are witnessing a paradigm shift in real time. They are realizing that the future of tennis marketing might not just rely on the traditional European or North American strongholds, but on the fervent, undeniable passion of emerging markets. Eala is the catalyst. As Eala prepares for this massive showdown with Anisimova, the stakes could not be higher. A deep run here in Cincinnati, a WTA 1000 event, would not only solidify her position in the top 20, but could potentially push her closer to the top 15 or even top 10 heading into the U.S. Open. The ranking points available here are massive, but more than the points, it is about sending a message. If EALA can take down a red-hot, top 10 American on U.S. soil in front of a sold-out, frenzied crowd, she will enter Flushing Meadows not just as a dark horse, but as a legitimate, undeniable title contender. The hard-court swing is a grueling test of endurance, both physical and mental. EALA has already proven she has the stamina and the game. Now, under the brightest lights, with the ticket systems crashing and the experts watching her every move, she has the opportunity to cement her status as the most exciting thing to happen to women's tennis in a very long time. As we wrap up this extensive deep dive, it is impossible not to marvel at the narrative unfolding before our very eyes. We started by talking about the shock and awe of Cincinnati tournament director Bob Moran, a man who has seen it all in his illustrious career, completely blindsided by the ticket demand for a 21-year-old. But as we have unpacked the layers of this story, it becomes abundantly clear that this was not a fluke. This was an inevitability. Alexandra Eala is the perfect storm of supreme athletic talent, relentless work ethic, and the backing of one of the most fiercely loyal fan bases on the planet. What is happening in Cincinnati this week is a microcosm of the future of tennis. The sport is becoming more global, more vibrant, and undeniably more exciting. The old guard is making way for a new generation of superstars who bring entirely new energies to the stadium. Whether she wins or loses against Amanda Anisimova in this highly anticipated round of 32 clash, Alex Eala has already won the broader battle. She has proven that she is a box office juggernaut. She has proven that a player from the Philippines can command the biggest stages in the world, sell out stadiums in minutes, and leave the foremost experts in the sport completely speechless. Looking ahead to the U.S. Open, the anticipation is only going to multiply. If Cincinnati's massive $260 million facility is struggling to contain the Eala phenomenon, one can only imagine the absolute electricity she will bring to the Billie Jean King National Tennis Center in New York. New York has a massive Filipino population. The Arthur Ashe Stadium, the biggest tennis arena in the world, might just turn into Manila for 2 weeks. The tennis world better brace itself, because the Alex Eala hype train is not slowing down. It is only picking up speed, and it is heading straight for a Grand Slam breakthrough. We will be following this story every step of the way. We will be providing full post-match analysis of the Eala versus Anisimova clash, breaking down the tactics, the crowd impact, and the fallout. I want to hear from you guys in the comments section below. What do you make of this unprecedented ticket demand? Were you one of the lucky ones to snag a seat in Cincinnati? And what are your predictions for Eala's match against the world number 10? Let me know your thoughts. Debate it out in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, please make sure to smash that like button. It really helps out the channel. Do not forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell, so you never miss an update on the tennis world and the meteoric rise of Alex Eala. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Stay passionate about the sport, and I will see you all in the next video.